Today we're going to be looking at one of the best used iPhones. This is the same iPhone that I'm still using now and I love it. I think this iPhone is awesome and brings a lot of great specs to the table. And trust me, whenever you get this phone, you're not going to feel like you got some cheap phone. It still feels like a nice phone. Apple did a great job on it. So let's go ahead and look into some of the specs and talk about these controversies about the iPhone XR. Alright, let's talk about that chip. The A12 Bionic chip is pretty great. It has been used in a ton of devices by Apple. And here's a quick list of the devices that actually use the same A12 Bionic chip. It's very important when looking at used iPhones to see what else Apple uses that chip in. This kind of gives you a good estimate on how long Apple plans on supporting that processor, because if you guys are getting an iPhone that is too old, you won't get the updates that you guys really want. But it sounds like this is a very big selling point for this iPhone because it's been in a lot of recent devices and should be supported for a long time. And we're going to have a whole little section of this video dedicated to this part, so hold on to that thought. For now, we're going to go and look at the screen. This is the biggest controversy about this iPhone, and mostly because if you get this iPhone, older iPhones have better screens. I'm just being honest, the screen when it comes down to specs is not as good. But after having an iPhone with an OLED screen and then going to this phone, I didn't notice a difference at all. It is not OLED, but it is a very nice LCD screen. It's not just like any other LCD panel. I think it is a really good LCD panel, and for just a phone, it's a pretty nice screen. Some of the benefits that OLED will give you are just deeper blacks and better contrast ratios. So if you guys are really into taking pictures and photography, that OLED screen is going to be pretty nice. Now let's talk about that camera. The front camera is not the best. And basically the front of this phone is not amazing, but it's not bad all at the same time. The front camera still can record up to 1080p, take those nice selfies that you guys want. But really where things get nice is that back camera. The back camera can shoot at up to 4K, which is very important for people like me that use this for digital creations. It is a 12 megapixel camera on the back, and it is a single camera. So basically what this means is you guys can't zoom into pictures as well, and it's mostly relying on software to take those nice selfies. It's not a big deal, and the rear camera is pretty nice. I use it all the time, no complaints. Alright, one of the most important topics when looking at a used iPhone is the longevity of it. How long are you going to be getting updates, and how long will Apple support that phone? So from what I've read, most iPhones usually are supported up to 5 years. Some phones have been extended. The iPhone 6s actually had 6 years of support, it sounds like, and a lot of people are hoping that the iPhone XR is going to get a similar support time, and I think right now the best used iPhone is the XR. A ton of people have this phone, so Apple's more likely to support it for longer. It should be getting updates for another 2 to 3 years, but I can't guarantee that. Basically, we're getting these numbers from past years and what Apple has previously done. Now, let's talk about that battery for a second. The battery on this phone is 2,942 milliamp hours, and that is a pretty decent size for an iPhone. You might not have the best screen, but you guys do have a pretty nice battery, and from what I've heard, it's one of the best iPhones for battery life. The A12 chip is really efficient in what it does, and paired with a big battery, this thing lasts me all day, even with a used battery. I haven't even replaced mine, so this probably has an original battery in it from 3 to 4 years ago, and it still lasts me all day. And I use my phone for work. When I was looking at this phone, I think the battery was one of the best things about this phone. So if you guys really want to get a phone that lasts you all day plus some, this is the phone to go. Next up, we're going to be talking about the speaker, and this was something that I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did. So on my previous iPhone, this wasn't an option, but this has a 2-speaker design. You have one that is your phone speaker, and it actually plays normal audio through whenever you guys are watching YouTube or listening to music. And then you have the other speaker down by the lightning port. Unfortunately, no audio jack, but you guys still have a decent sound system on the phone. The front speaker is aimed straight at you, and it is pretty loud. So I think the speaker on this is probably the best speaker I've had on any iPhone so far, which is pretty fun. So this phone is IP67 waterproof as well, which basically just means it could be submerged up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes, and it should be pretty good. You might not be able to charge your phone right afterwards, but as long as it dries out, it's not going to get on the inside. So yeah, that is the iPhone XR.